So everybody wanted a beach live. It's kind of chilly today, but it's beautiful. I came here to take a walk because I love to come here to walk. We have a lot of beach here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me all that well because of the waves and the wind, so I hope this comes out okay. I don't know if it will or not, but I guess we'll have to wait and see until this is over. But I wanted to talk about several things first. Hold on, I have sand in my shoe. I want to talk about Benny and I want to talk about Jose. So, first of all, don't you think that I could say the same thing about Benny taking Candace's phone? Benny, why didn't you turn Candace's phone in when you were up on Ben Hill Road? What's the difference? I see all these people saying, turn the phone in, turn the phone in. First of all, Benny didn't take Candace's phone when he was up there. Why didn't he take her phone and say, hey, Ronnie Lawson, I have this phone. I want to turn it in. But Don's phone, which they've already taken, you think they don't have all their shit tapped? They definitely do. Guarantee you. And all this stuff about not being able to get through the lock on it or whatever, that's bullshit too. They have to go through Apple to get all that and iChat. So, and TikTok. But regardless, Benny's just doing what Benny does. People eat it up and they believe it. It's bullshit. Okay? I don't want to spend too much time on Benny because I want this to be short so I can really take my walk. But, okay, now I have questions about, and don't forget that I said that either. Don and Candace's phones, Grandis, they're listening. They're watching everything. I promise you, they don't need Don's phone. That phone call that he had was specifically probably because Candace doesn't belong to Benny anymore, and she's over on Ernie's every night, and he can't control her. So he has to, break it off because he doesn't want to look like he lost anything. And that's the truth. So, if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. Just keep that in mind. So, moving on to Jose. I have questions about Jose and Andrew. I have my hoodie on, so I'm hoping that this doesn't sound horrible. But, okay, so Jose, while he was on Justin, says there were 3 vehicles, right, that came down from New York to Tennessee, and he checks with someone who's sitting next to him. Obviously, it's somebody who went with him. Clearly, this person says no. There were only 2 vehicles. So, Andrew's staying strong with this 3-vehicle thing too. So Andrew and Jose believe there were 3 vehicles. And Andrew was sticking to this story all the way. all the way until he was on Prayer Garden. And Andrew says, well, you know, my memory isn't too good. And the wifey just came in and she told me that there were only 2 vehicles, not 3. So I'm like, so then he's going on and on and on about his memory and how horrible his memory is, and just like overkill. So apparently, whoever Jose is with is on the same page as Andrew's wifey, right? Andrew and Jose from jump are like, there's 3 vehicles. Well, whoever was sitting next to Jose says different. He says 2. Jose says 3. The person with him says 2. Andrew says 3. His wife says 2. So 14 people are going to fit in 2 vehicles? I don't think so. So I don't know if you guys can see it. If I turn right here, that is Long Island, New York. It's so visible today. The visibility is like really good. Anyway, so we have Andrew who says 3 vehicles, Jose who says 3 vehicles, whoever was with Jose says 2, and Andrew's wife says 2. Kind of strange, don't you think? So you got 14 people coming from New York to Tennessee, and they only crushed into 2 vehicles with a bunch of kids? Something doesn't sound right about that, guys. And why is it that the person with Jose and Andrew's wife say 2 vehicles and Andrew and Jose say 3? I think there were 3 cars because it was said by Andrew himself that the 3rd car was watching to make sure that they got there okay. So they just followed along to make sure that all of these people got to Tennessee okay. That's how confident Andrew was that there was a 3rd vehicle. So then he says, I know exactly what I was wearing that day. Or no, excuse me. Ask my wife. She remembers everything. She remembers what I was wearing that day because she took pictures of us on the way down there. I want to see those, Andrew. I want to see those pictures that your wife has of all of you. I also want to know what house they were moving into because I believe it was Candace's house. Now, Jose said he was there when Candace listed the property on Facebook. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea, but I don't trust him. So, you've got 14 people that come from New York to Tennessee with their children. They don't have a receipt. They don't have a rental agreement. They don't have anything. Nothing. Do you want to know why? It was probably Candace's house. And I would imagine that's why Don flew home from Utah with Josie, because Candace was trying to get rid of his property and his mother's house. When Candace listed the house on Facebook, she listed it with 2 cabins on the property. So that would be the 2 sheds. I'm going to be willing to bet by the time that they got there, they're like, where are we going to live? These sheds are broken down and not livable. Is that why they turned around and went home? Were they pissed? Like, what happened? So, what else did I want to talk about? Allie on Prayer Garden says Grandis got out of the car. She says she jumped right out of the car, jumped up onto the porch and into the house. Well, Allie, that's not what you said the first time. The first time you talked about this, you said that they stayed in the truck and that Hunter went outside to talk to Candace. Now Grandma jumped out of the truck and onto the porch and into the house with no problem. Now that's on the Thursday that Candace went back to Hunter's house to ask him what the feds said to him. So these are just like little discrepancies that I have in my mind. I find it to be so frustrating that all of these people cannot tell a single solid story. No one's stories coincide with one another. Not a friggin' one. And when they do, somebody's trying to correct it. So we've got Jose and Andrew who have the same story about the 3 vehicles. But then wifey steps in and says, nope, there was only 2. And whoever was sitting with Jose said, no, there's only 2. So I'm a little confused by these things. And I guess it's just something to ask yourself questions about and whatnot. But I got to end this right here. Hold on. Got to get past some rocks real quick.